Hello and welcome to the Batch. The Batch.
We're here at the Batch.
The Batch. Welcome to the Bad Batch, the Batch Report through Imperial Eyes, our Batch Report. Welcome back. Wow, that was a horrible intro, but...
Your forehead would look great for that whole intro, though.
You know what? It's okay. Everybody will know and recognize me slowly. Can you guys see my bald spot? Don't tell me if you do. It's okay. Welcome back. This is a cool episode, talking about episode 11, Devil's Deal.
I think we just need to stop promising Friday episodes.
Yeah, right?
Because at this point, we're like, we'll do it Friday.
It's going to come out on the weekend at some point. All right, yeah. We're busy people. I'm your host,
busy people,
Jackson Daleen,
and I'm your other host, Braydon Leadbetter. Good to be here.
Welcome to the show. Welcome. We're gonna talk about a good little episode here. This was a good little episode here. I really enjoyed this because it was a good. It's like Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. It's really expositionally, but like it was a good filler episode. You know.
Yeah. Even though our main characters were in it for about 3 minutes.
Right. No, I loved it. I loved how simple it tied them in. Overall, what are your thoughts on just kind of the episode and what we saw and what happened?
I think it's my least favorite. It's not that I don't like it. It's just out of all of them, I think it's my least favorite episode just because we didn't get any Bad Batch in the Bad Batch episode. So that's the only killer for me. It was cool to see. I was like live texting you while I was watching it.
Yeah.
And as soon as Cham Syndulla came up, I was like, is that my boy Cham?
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo, is that my boy Cham? And I was like, hey, yo, is that Chop?
Yeah.
So it was cool to see like Cham Syndulla and Chopper and Hera. I think it's weird that Hera has like a French accent.
Yeah, I thought that too. It was like, well, it's cool that she like grows out of that, but like,
this is kind of, I was like, that's weird.
Different, yeah.
But I really liked, her interacting with Omega and, how passionate we see her,
that little monologue she gives when they're on the Bad Batch's ship. Really, I agree.
Yeah. And I also think there's a little, I don't know if they keep doing this on purpose or what, but there's also some little things that kind of, we'll talk about later, but they kind of contradict the canon again. But I'll mention it once we get to that part.
Okay, when we talk about it.
Yeah, but overall, I had it was a fun episode. Had a good time watching it. It just wasn't. I was just like, okay, but where's the Bad Batch? The show is called The Bad Batch.
No, and I think it was definitely like the next episode will work as a part 2 to this one, and that will, I think, include the Batch more.
Yeah.
I always like these kind of fun, like weird spin-off episodes where it's like you don't know how it's going to tie to the rest of everything else, and then like it does it very subtly, and you're just like, okay, that was cool. I always like those kind of stuff. So the Bad Batch being in it for like 3 minutes, while I was like, I could have used more Bad Batch. I like how simple it tied them into the whole mix, that now they can just easily call back to Sid and send the Batch. No, it was cool. So, cool. Let's break down kind of the base by base with this episode. We'll kind of just talk about the main points because there are some action scenes that take a good little minute, and most of the dialogue is pretty much all about the same stuff. So we really just have to talk about it once without going through the whole episode. So starting off, we'll kind of talk about the Empire's initial presence on Ryloth and how pretty much right out of the bag, Ryloth was one of those planets that really became one of the starters for the rebellion. I really like how I like seeing the political play with what was it, Senator Ta, and with Cham Syndulla, and just it was really cool seeing that, and very espionage.
And how early on you basically just know that Senator Ta is a pawn for the Empire.
Right. Yeah, literally.
I love that.
No, I like it. I love kind of the character piece that it got to tell with Cham, because he's in Rebels. He's not a ton in Rebels, and all of the stuff he has is mainly like dad and daughter issues with him and Hera.
Yeah, and I think we're starting to see the beginning of those.
Yeah, and
origins of those issues.
I like that we're seeing that. Yeah, I hope this kind of shows us how Hera gets herself maybe not like, we probably won't see her get the ghost, but we'll see her leave Ryloth to...
I think we're going to see her this is just speculation, but I think we're going to see her also flying the Bad Batch ship too.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that would be really fun. Yeah, I think it was really cool showing Hera a lot too. I like that she was
because
at how much too.
Yeah, and I was also surprised that she even showed up because this show has done a very good job of bringing in familiar characters, but in a very sensible way.
I agree.
And I think I was like, all right, is that it? There's not really any more people you can, because we already got Kanan.
Right.
We got Cad Bane. And then, now we got Hera, we got Chopper. It just begs the question, who else could possibly show up,
Vader.
Yeah, I think they're going to do Vader at the end, but it's going to be...
I think so as well.
It's not going to be a big deal like with Rebels. It's going to be like he shows up for a second.
Yeah, we were talking about it just before we started recording, but talking about the episode titles and how the last 2 episodes of the season aren't we can't find the title anywhere. We can find the rest of them, but we can't find the last 2, and I wonder if those are going to be the Camino episode.
The last 2 are going to be called Vader's Death Part 1 and Vader's Death Part 2.
Vader is in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I wonder if he will show up at the end. But yeah, moving on. We talked about Hera and Chop a little bit, and I remember, I don't know why I did it, but I was watching it and I went, I wonder if they got Dave Filoni to do the voice, and I went, that was a really stupid question.
They did, absolutely did. Yeah.
I was like, that was really dumb. I was like, Dave Filoni probably was like, yeah, no, guys, I got it. Don't worry, I got it. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be me. I'm gonna do it. It's me. And you're like, okay.
I mean, yeah, he's the only one who can do it, really.
He's getting better at his chop voice too. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm convinced that he just sits there and like cusses and says slurs into the microphone, and they just
like says them in like the way the line should be. Like that's funny. Good old classic R2D2 vibes, just being a raunchy droid.
Yeah.
So moving on, some of the kind of the conflict going on between the Twi'leks and the Empire is kind of the presence of the clone army, and then the Empire building this refinery.
Yeah.
What do you think the refinery's for? Do you think it's just like a basic like refinery, kind of how the Empire uses, or do you think it's for a specific purpose and that's what they're hiding?
I'm wondering if we're kind of building up to the beginning state, because right now the Death Star is being built. So I'm wondering if they're making, they're trying to do something to get materials for the Death Star still.
I think it's going to be for like materials to make armor for stormtroopers.
That could be
and
it too.
Like materials to build ships and all that, like TIE fighter wings and like the ball cages that they have.
It's going to be something to do with the Empire's equipment wise, or because
it's well guarded. That was kind of the focal point they talked about, was that it had like anti-air cannons and I wonder if it's going to be a kind of a bigger part, and if we'll learn that in the next episode.
Yeah. What is your kind of, at this point in the series, what is your view on Rampart as a character?
So actually, I'm glad you asked this question, because I did want to talk about this later with the when after the chase and Cham rescues Hera and Gobi, and he's holding them at gunpoint, and it's kind of the whole like Cham's yelling at Senator Ta and all that, and it's just like Rampart's like, no, surrender, like it's all right, it's good, and like they all settle down, and Rampart goes, thank you for playing your part, and nods. I was like, oh, it blew my mind. It was like instantly the trick was played. I was like, wow, even I fell for it, and it turned my opinion on Rampart immediately.
Yeah.
No, I liked it. I like how just like kind of casually calculated he is, and it makes him much scarier as a villain.
I'm also wondering if he's going to make it out of this series.
If he does, I don't know if out of this series, but I wonder if he'll make it out of this season.
I don't know.
Probably not.
I do. He's very like it's very much like a Tarkin thing where like I hate him so much that I like him.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and this episode only changed it. Oh, and Crosshair shot Ta in the head. That was the one I was like, whoa.
Well, here's the thing about that. Well, I guess we'll just get right to there, because they did call it an attempted assassination.
Yeah.
So the issue is he cannot be dead, because in Lords of the Sith, which, the book, it takes place about 5 years after this. Senator Ta is alive and well. And so I guess he's just injured.
Maybe
injured.
Maybe he shot the base of his... He only got
shot in the side of the head.
He shot him right here, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't get shot.
I wonder if he shot the base of his tail and it just took him out. It didn't kill him.
Just but a flesh wound, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder how that'll change.
Let's kind of go into when the Bad Batch shows up.
I thought this was a kind of a fun scene with how they did it. I think the main focus of it was definitely the kind of Omega showing her the hair of the ship. And
I love that, we have that line from Hera saying flying is about a feeling. And then Omega later is like, hey, did you know that flying's a feeling?
What's a feeling?
I think that was great. One thing I did notice is Hera's theme is very, very similar to Leia's theme. It's like a note off. Yeah. It's like a note off. If you watch the episode again, listen to anytime she talks about flying or anything, there's a theme that plays.
I noticed that in the scene of when I was making the rundown, I was skimming through it, and I was on the scene when she's laying in the rocks right before she gets caught by the storm. She's doing airplane in the sky. It plays that too. Theme, and I was like, that kind of sounds familiar. I was like, whatever. And I can't. That's funny you say that. Okay, so it's
very close. It's like a
similar.
note off from Leia's theme, but I was like, wow, that's very close to Leia's theme.
That's funny. Those are very similar characters too, so I'm kind of not surprised by that. I'm trying to think, just especially this scene with the batch and just them showing up. I love how it was shot. The weird wide angle of them standing with the weapons.
This is a beautiful episode. Yeah.
No, I agree. The lighting, especially with Hera and Omega on the ship, is really pretty.
A lot of the shots, just in general, just look so good.
It's very crispy. Oh, it's so good.
I think they need to redo the first half of Clone Wars just so it can look that good.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that really would be cool. I hope we get deep into Bad Batch enough that we can get to the point where it starts to feel like the original trilogy with this animation. I would love more of this animation. A lot like that last scene of in Clone Wars, the Vader scene. A lot like that. That'd be cool. There's not much to talk about. Kind of the canyon chase. Was there any points of action that you really enjoyed?
I thought it's pretty basic Star Wars chase. I mean,
it's Cham throwing the spear off of the clone troopers off their speeders. That was always
cool.
Yeah, that was the one that got me. He's running on the side of the wall and he throws it at him.
Yeah, and I think I don't know why every single time I watch these action scenes and I hear Kevin Kiner's score, I'm just like, give him a movie.
I know, right?
Just give him a movie already. He's so good. But I was going to say something. The clone trooper, is it Hauser?
Oh, yes. I wanted to talk about Captain Hauser.
So Hauser is kind of the voice of reason a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's so strange because...
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I was looking around on Instagram, and so I kind of fell in love with Captain Hauser. Is he getting a toy? I remember us talking about something and us being I don't know who this is. And I think he's getting a Black Series or maybe a vintage coming soon. But if he gets a Black Series, I want it. It's cool. I really liked Captain Hauser. Yeah, so I think some of the stuff on Instagram I saw talked about how they think Hauser is one of the people that Rex was talking about, how there are some people that the chip partially worked, and if they did it, they didn't change them as a person. Notice how all of the clones are very robotic now, but Hauser's very much
he has his helmet off, and he's painted.
He's still very casual, and you can tell he's going through conflict. I think it's that his chip is activated, but it's not working. It's not processing, so it's not staying. So I wonder, because I also saw I saw a tweet that was who did Hauser kill? Who was the Jedi Hauser killed? And then people were did Hauser kill anyone? Was Hauser in a situation where he had to, and maybe he's just been going along with it since the change?
Was Hauser even around Jedi during Order 66? I mean, because he even says like whenever I think Rampart's, giving Hera a hard time, and House is just like, stop, she's only a child.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's like kind of unusual.
He saves Cham's behind when Hera gets caught at the refinery, and like you can really see a lot of the when Senator Taz like attacked them, Hauser's like, he's like, yes, sir. Like he's really conflicted with it.
He has a hard time attacking the Syndulas.
I wonder if he'll make it out of Ryloth. I wonder if he'll kind of like help someone at the last one. Like he'll really kind of be like fed up with what's going on and kind of turn at the last second.
You know what I want? This definitely won't happen, but it would be awesome to see like a clone trooper uprising of like all the clone troopers that kind of, cool. The chip didn't really work all the way. Or they're like Rex and they have the chip removed.
Well, and I wonder if we'll ever see or at least get a closer moment of when like Rex finds like Wolf and Gregor.
Yeah.
How long was Rex kind of wandering doing stuff before he ends up settling on whatever that planet is that Gregor's on?
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, I don't know. What do you think next episode will be? It's going to be pretty much just a part 2, I think.
Yeah, I guess so, because we ended off with Hera kind of riding into the night on her little speeder with Chopper. Chopper was on the speeder, right?
Yeah, Chopper was. Because Hera's mom yells and he like spins out really cool.
That's right. Yeah. I think for sure Hera's mom is going to die.
Yeah, I agree.
Probably soon. And I think that's what's going to cause a really big disconnect in between Cham and Hera.
And I wonder if like that will happen and then they're separated immediately after.
Yeah.
How do you think the Bad Batch will figure out what's going on and have to show up? Do you think they'll be hired, or do you think like it'll be a distress?
I think they're going to somehow swoop in and save Hera, and kind of, I wonder if even...
and the episode's called Rescue on Ryloth too. So I'm wondering
if that's literally rescuing Hera from Ryloth.
Taking her.
And then like Omega gets a friend.
That's kind of cool that like that's how Hera ends up like out in the galaxy, out in the universe.
Like all thanks to the Bad Batch.
All thanks to the Bad Batch. Funny enough too, they were there when Kanan, on Kanan's worst day of his life, they were probably also there for Hera's worst day of her life.
That's interesting. Yeah, that is. I would love that. It's not weird. It's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. That like the Bad Batch, with their reputation, but they've actually done something really.
They're like a totem of bad luck. Like they do good, but like where they go and where they are is always bad.
Yeah.
What a curse.
I think next week's episode is definitely going to be a little more emotionally heavy.
Yeah.
Because I think the last couple episodes.
And very action packed too.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see where Hera will end up by the end, because obviously I don't think she'll be with the Bad Batch for the rest of the season.
No, I don't think. I think if anything, the next episode, like the last scene, will be wherever they drop Hera off.
Or what if we see Hera like getting the ghost somehow, like they gift her the ghost like in some way.
Yeah, right.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I wonder if the ghost is like maybe Gobi's ship, or like maybe it's Cham's ship stored somewhere, and it's like a final gift.
Yeah, or she just steals it, and she's like, "This is mine now."
Yeah, this is literally not surprised.
Yeah. So.
Well, cool. Well, thank you for listening to us. This has been episode 11 of The Batch Report. I have been your host, Jackson Daleen, and this was my co-host, Braydon Leadbetter. You can find us, as always, on Instagram at Through Imperial Eyes Pod. Our Twitter is at Imperial Eyes Pod, and our YouTube is just, the Through Imperial Eyes. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, anywhere. You can follow me on Instagram at Quacksonscaling. That's QUACKSON, and then scaling like the triangle. And then you can also follow my photography Instagram, which is at Daleen_photography. That's DALEEN_photography. Braydon, what about you? What are your socials?
As always, you can find me on Instagram at Braydon Leadbetter and on Twitter at Brayddathlon. And if you want to find me on Letterboxd, see what I'm watching, see what I'm reviewing. I just saw Black Widow this past weekend.
Oh, cool. Did you like it? Was it fun?
It was okay. You'll see my review on Letterboxd if you follow me at braydonleadbetter. That's where I leave all of my tasty reviews for what I'm watching.
Like, this was the worst Marvel experience I've ever had. 1.5 out of 5 stars.
It wasn't bad. I was just a little disappointed, but that's where you can find me on the interwebs.
Well, cool. Thank you as always for listening. Tune in next week to our new shows, and that weekend, whenever next weekend we won't. We'll talk about that on our next news show. So tune in next week to our news show on Thursday. We'll talk about all of our news. It's our normal, regular episode. And until then, may the Force be with you.
Always.